So first of all, I see this teenager. She's probably like 15, 16. She's really pretty. She's wearing like a Catholic schoolgirl, blouse and the little plaid skirt. And she's in class, almost like chewing bubblegum, and she's bored. And she's kind of like closing her eyes, kind of dozing off and daydreaming. Okay. So she's in a place that she doesn't want to be in because she's bored. It's not giving her enough stimulation. And I feel like she's very smart. She looks like she's sharp. She looks like she's really smart. So like something in your environment, I feel, is monotonous, is a little bit too like, they're teaching you theory, but they're not teaching you how to apply theory, put theory to practice. So I feel like, yes, you can sit there and absorb the information, but unless you get some type of a hands-on experience, you might not know how the information is even relevant or how the information is even applicable. So that daydreaming vibe, I almost feel like there is something here that you don't want to, a situation you don't want to be in, because you're thinking of opportunities. You're thinking of ways in which, you can get out into the world and start to apply your knowledge and fix real life problems. So I feel like you're thinking more in terms of practicalities versus, it's like practicing something versus learning just a theoretical concept. And that theme is definitely echoed in these cards, the first four cards. This is waiting for your ship to come in, Three of Wands, waiting for excitement, waiting for opportunities, waiting for physically an opportunity where you can flex your muscles, where you can shine, where you can apply everything that you've learned and see what sticks, okay? What I feel is there is an environment that is, it's like a little bit monotonous, a little bit routine, a little bit mundane. And I almost feel like some of you are waiting for that big break. I see a lot of people in the entertainment industry, okay? Where you are right now with this is the Knight of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse position. These are like little projects, little gigs here and there, odd jobs, making ends meet, piecing together, 3 like part-time jobs, 3 short-term gigs, 3 contract jobs in order to get by, in order to wait for your big break, in order to be able to kind of like put yourself on the radar, but then always waiting for that opportunity where you're going to catch your big break and you're going to be able to soar. So it's like you have to go through the monotony of this situation in order to really, really appreciate and to be really like it's almost like we have to know what it's like to really struggle and to really work hard so that when the big break comes into the picture, when your ship starts to come in and your income generating potential is able to, multiply, that's when we really are able to appreciate, okay? Whatever that's coming through. So I feel like for many of you, you're probably wondering, when is that big job going to come in? When is that promotion? When is that dream job? When am I going to be able to get out there and flex my muscles and be seen and heard and to have that major, major big break? So I feel like the universe is prepping you. It's showing you a little bit of humility. It's teaching you all about dedication, perseverance, hard work, not giving up. Try and try again. And once you have mastered those things, once you have, really put your nose to the grindstone, work hard in order to be prepared for the success that's coming in, that's when the success is going to come in. So I feel like there's an element here about needing to collaborate, needing to work, needing to build things up from the ground, needing to also, come to other people and ask them, hey, how would you approach this problem? Or how have you done this in the past? What is your best practice? Or what are some of the things that advice or whatever you can give me. So I feel like the universe is teaching you the value of slow and arduous process and discipline and perseverance in order for the universe to prepare you so that when you get your reward, you don't just, scramble and run away at the first sign of problem when a problem creeps up, that you stick it out and then you are diligent about seeing things through. Okay. So there is a lot to be said here about preparation, preparing for the journey, preparing for the process. Success is not something that is like, a flash in the pan, or it's not something that is just going to rain down on us overnight. It requires a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of sweat and tears in order for us to make it big. And all these little minor adversities or obstacles that we're encountering is teaching us how to problem solve, is teaching us how to be humble and patient, so that when the big things come into the picture, even if it has like so much promise, it's always going to come with little annoyances. So you're learning a lot about, strength of character so that you don't run away when things get rough. Okay. So going back to that image that I saw, the little girl in the classroom or the teenager in the classroom, when she was daydreaming, these thoughts bubble kind of pop up, like they were popping up, 5 of them. So the first thing is, she's like on stage and she's singing. Okay. And, I feel like some of you might be, wishing for fame and fortune, wishing for that big break, wanting to be on center stage, wanting to shine, wanting an opportunity to display your talents. And I feel like you're going to be able to get that this month. 3 of Pentacles, sharing your skills and expertise with other people, as well as learning from other people. And that's where you're going to be able to refine and hone your skills so that when the big break happens, you're going to be able to kind of showcase yourself. Okay. And you're going to be able to do it in a very refined and an elegant manner. So what it is I feel like you might be a little bit rough around the edges right now, but this process is going to help you refine yourself and make your, whatever it is that you're bringing forth, to make it a lot more palatable and a lot more enjoyable for the other people. And then another thought bubble that comes out is, I see, those necklaces. They're like 2 pieces of the hearts, and sometimes it says like best friend on it, and then one person keeps one piece, the other person keeps one piece. And so I see 2 pieces of a necklace. It comes together. So I feel like for some of you, there might be like a big love that you're waiting on. Okay. For some of you, I feel almost like there was a situation where you gave 110% of yourself. You gave so much of yourself, and you might have gotten really sorely hurt. And that past person is coming back in with an apology. Okay. This is the 10 of Swords. And then we have the fast and swift communication, the 8 of Swords. And I feel like this is a situation where too much has been done. So you have moved on. You've turned your back on that situation. For some of you, it could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Somebody who really, really broke your heart. Somebody that, you put on a pedestal, and they just didn't reciprocate. They didn't see the worth. They knew you were special, but they didn't know to what extent. And I feel like air signs in general, once we turn away emotionally, we know how to shut off our emotions, kind of like a switch. Okay. So I feel like this person really hurt you, and they're coming back in, shooting you a lot of messages. 8 of Wands here. And I feel like, some of the things that they say, all of the things that they're saying are very belated. Like, it's too late. But you're still flattered. So, for example, they're going to tell you, like, you were really good to me. I really messed up. And I feel like in a way you're glad to hear that, because it confirms and it helps validate everything that you're feeling. Like, I gave a lot of myself to this person and they really did me wrong. They really hurt me. They really took me for granted. They thought I was going to always stay around and, joke's on them. So I feel like in a way, the communication makes you very, very happy, but emotionally you have already turned your back on that situation. So you don't have you don't have any more of this love, Queen of Cups reverse, to give that person. So they're going to be shooting you messages, but you're not really reading it. You could already have been blocking them, so you're not really getting the messages, or until you heard whatever it is that you were waiting for, like, I'm really sorry, I was a fool, whatever the situation is, and then you kind of like turn them off or you kind of block them so that you don't need to be bothered with it anymore. Options are dwindling. Okay. So it's more like, this is not a good person for me to be in because they took me for granted. And now everything is too late. Too much has been done. Too much has been said. And I'm no longer a fool. I'm only going to build things and situations and relationships with people that are worthy of me. So when I saw the thought bubble with the two hearts coming together, I feel it's almost like your heart is mended. There was like lines that split up the hearts. When it comes together, your heart is being mended. Your heart is being whole again. And I feel like there's another person in the picture that is piquing your interest. And here's the thing where that second message or that second image ties in with the first. So, a lot of the times, right? And this is something that is very prevalent with air signs. Air signs, and especially you guys, Gemini, you live out this fantasy romance in your head. And, it's really, really enticing in your head, right? And you guys do this often. You daydream. You daydream about scenarios. You daydream about what's the other person going to say, what I'm going to say back, and so on and so forth. So everything plays out in your head like a movie. And especially if it's somebody that you're heavily thinking about, that you really like, you play it out, all the possible scenarios in your head. And the thing is, because of this situation that kind of brought a sense of realism and reality into you, now you're at a point where you're just like, I'm looking for something real. I'm looking for something stable. I'm looking for something that is long lasting. So I feel like you have matured as a result of this disappointment. You have really matured. And you have two other characters here. I have a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, and I have an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Also a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Okay. And what I'm feeling is this. You're playing out the scenarios in your head. If you have all of these suitors, you're playing out the scenarios. And I feel with you guys, you always know, and there's always an order of preference as to who you want the most. But you've been burned in the past. And you want to be able to put theory into practice. So it's almost like you want to date, but you want to also have that trial run of a relationship with another person before you invest your all. And you wish there is a way for you to, it's almost like a hypothetical, you might be in one relationship and you're just like, if I leave this relationship, hypothetically, if I leave this person for another person, what is that relationship going to look like? So you start to daydream and fantasize and conjecture about that other relationship just to see how long-term, how viable it is. And so I almost feel like there's a frustration here coming into this spread about hypotheticals, about wanting so badly to live like an alternate reality, like an alternate, like to be on an alternate time frame where you can explore other opportunities. And then if those things don't work out, then you can always come back and return to the status quo. It's that intense. And so I definitely feel like in the love relationship sector, there might be a few options that are available for you. And I also feel like, you're really, really looking for your stability, Four of Wands. You're really looking for your other half. And you're almost like looking for this whirlwind romance where the other person's on the same page. The other person will love you and give you everything that will really restore your faith in love and relationships. Whatever that was taken away in the past, you want this new relationship partner to kind of like help you restore it and help you bring you to fullness. And when we enter relationships expecting the other person to kind of complete us, we want to be a little bit careful about that. That's kind of placing unfair expectations on the other person. And it's also, it should be a little bit of a warning sign for you guys to put so much emphasis on relationships wherein you're expecting the other person to fulfill you rather than going out into the world and fulfilling yourself. But then also placing so much emphasis and so much expectations on a relationship partner is always, a setup that is not healthy. So you want to be a little bit careful about that. Okay. So I see here a big element about wanting to, kind of like, start anew, start over and have something brand new, something a little bit more stable. But I also feel like there's this really, really strong need as well about being able to experiment without the risk of losing the status quo. Okay. And so I feel like, in the realm of fantasy, everything is just really available for you to experiment. But in the real world, you're a little bit frustrated because physical constraints do not allow you to do that. Okay. So I'm sensing this fantasy versus reality duality here coming into the picture. And you guys are such hopeless romantics. And I feel almost like the world of the fantasy is always going to be a lot more alluring than the real world, because that's where all of your fantasies get to be acted out, get to be realized without any real world repercussions. And whereas the here and now, where you're at right now, waiting for resolutions, waiting for contact, waiting for a situation to come together where people can start cooperating, I feel like the wait can be very frustrating. Okay. So aside from that, the thought bubble. So I think there were 4. I mentioned the heart. I mentioned as well the, what was that first one? What's that first one? So on stage, and then I mentioned the heart. So what I'm also feeling as well is I see this tent, and it's like in the middle of the woods, okay? Wanting peace and sight and quiet as well. And funnily enough, this card or this spread is filled with a lot of people wanting companionship, wanting, connections with other people, wanting recognition even from other people. But deep down, there's a need to retreat that you might be as well overlooking, I feel. When we're constantly in Geminis as an air sign, you guys are the most wired, okay? You're very, very connected through social media, through electronics, through communication, through like banter and just, office politics and chit chat. And so I feel like there is also this need in you as well that you might not be aware of, or you might be neglecting, this need to kind of unplug from the world and to kind of like spend time by yourself, doing hobbies, doing activities on your own. And I feel like the retreat and to drown out the noise and to kind of like, cocoon yourself into a safety environment, whatever it is, like, spending a weekend in, sleeping in late, being away from people, going for a hike by yourself, taking a trip by yourself. I feel like the need for that is really important for the later part of this month, where you can rewire, where you can recharge, where you can, kind of like really draw your energy back and to figure out and to start to even pull in the things that are good for you without the distractions of everything else in your environment. I also feel like there is also a need here to stop communicating with people from the past that have not seen your worth or have seen your worth only when it was too late. And then to be able to kind of block out, energetically block out that part to be able to allow new energies to come in. You definitely have two new people. You have definitely someone who's interested in you, someone who is carrying a torch for you here, Knight of Wands, chasing this person. So this is somebody who's very, very interested. They're physically attracted. And I almost feel like you're not looking at this person. You might not even be aware of them, or, you know, I feel like it's a really good match. Okay. I don't feel like it's even a fire sign. I just feel like it's somebody who's making their intentions very, very, very known to you.